Hello, it's another weekend and we are live from Abuja studio with a burst of stories that make headlines not just in the nation's capital, but across the Federation. Our program today is a mix of politics, human angle stories, entertainment, sport, and lifestyle. Interesting.
The news of a fatal helicopter accident in the United States involving Herbert Wigwe, the CEO of Access Holdings, his wife and son who were traveling from Palm Springs to Las Vegas along with Bimbo Ogunbanjo, a former chairman of Nigeria Exchange, shook the business community at home and around the world. Herbert Wigwe is survived by aged parents who have continued to receive messages of condolence. These images speak volumes.
Epsom Street at Northern Foreshore Estate, a quiet neighborhood in the upscale area of Lekki, is now receiving visitors as dignitaries and friends troop in to pay their condolences. Herbert Wigwe, his wife, son, and the former group chairman of the Nigerian Exchange Group PLC, Abimbola Ogunbanjo, died in a helicopter crash. Aigboje Aigimokwede, Aliko Dangote, Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun, Patitomi were amongst early callers. A few of the dignitaries who spoke to journalists described his death as a painful loss, not just to the financial sector, but to the nation at large.
We are feeling sad. We are not happy about what has happened, but we have to submit to the will of the Almighty Lord at times like this. We just pray that the good Lord will grant Herbert, the wife, the son, and my brother Bimbo Ogunbanjo, all of them in the ill-fated helicopter crash, that the Almighty Lord will grant them eternal rest.
A kind, sweet, courageous, intelligent, supportive and loving gentleman. We all worked very well with him. I worked with him from 1995, and we, planned to build big businesses. We visioned, we faced challenges, we fought them, and we stayed true to our goals.
I think Nigeria has lost a key icon. The financial services industry has lost a solid pillar.
They also pray that God gives the family the fortitude to bear the loss.
He will comfort for Herbert, the aged parents, the children that he left behind, siblings and the entire family, and for Bimbo, of course, he left the wife, siblings, his children and everybody. So we pray the good Lord comforts them. And we pray that things like this, happening like this, will not be witnessing.
May the Lord comfort all of us. May the Lord comfort his parents, his children, his business associates, and everyone that knew him.
It is a very trying moment for the family of Abimbola Ogunbanjo, a former chairman of the Nigerian Exchange Group, who died in an helicopter crash in the US at the weekend. The plane crash also claimed the lives of former CEO of Access Holdings, Herbert Wigwe, his wife, and son. At the residence of Ogunbanjo, condolence register has been opened and sympathizers are in. The air of grief takes over the entire compound. No family member feels strong enough to talk to the media. TVC News met former governor of Ogun State, Senator Ibikunle Amusu, who expressed his grief in a low tone.
And he will watch over and comfort the wife, the children, the siblings, and indeed the entire Ogunbanjo family, not just the Ogunbanjo family, all of us really. We pray that we will not witness incident like this. So that's the only thing I can say. So these are troubling times. This is not what anybody will wish for.
Abimbola Ogunbanjo was a lawyer and a businessman. He sat on the board of the Nigerian Exchange Group as its chairman. The U.S. Aviation Authority said investigations have been launched into the weekend air crash. Let's now take you through the headlines in 60 seconds. This past week was a scorcher which saw temperature rise to an all-time 41 degrees Fahrenheit, to be precise. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, warned that the heat wave may not abate. So brace up, guys. And remember, drink a lot of water
and wear natural fiber clothing. In days, weeks, and possibly months ahead, air temperatures will hit 41 degrees Celsius cover the north and 39 Celsius cover the south, with model projections indicating temperatures to remain high. Okay, interesting. Now, over the week, conversations have continued on food inflation and food insecurity. Interesting. In a bid to address mounting challenges of food inflation, the federal government of Nigeria has announced the establishment of a national commodity board. And Vice President Kashim Shettima unveiled the initiative during a pivotal two-day summit in Abuja, focusing on climate change, food systems, and resource mobilization. Landing cost of petrol exceeds 1,000 naira as the Apex Bank continues to put in place measures that will show up the naira and ease the hardship occasioned by the removal of fuel subsidy. Interesting. What do you think?
Well, the feedback from Nigerians, or should I say the pulse from Nigerians over the recent weeks, especially on social media, is not something to play with or joke with.
Okay. And that also takes us to Nigerian foreign exchange crisis. It's getting worse. And President Tinubu assures that it may seem bleak now, but sacrifice must be made for there to be a remarkable improvement. The lasting cost of imported petrol has exceeded 1,000 naira per litre. Many say the rate of exchange rate as the naira trading above 1,005 to the dollar.
Now, content creators, the hammer may come down hard. The Corporate Affairs Commission has asked companies to register their names or businesses as mandated by the Company and Allied Matters Act 2020. And some good news in business, as Nigeria has become the first African country to sign the Enhanced Trade and Investment Partnership with the UK. The partnership is designed to grow the UK and Nigeria's already thriving trade relationship, which totaled £7 billion in 2023.
Interesting. I think that a lot is happening, but of course Nigeria will scale through.
Content creators are really making
a lot of money. Okay, we'll go on a break now. When we come back, there's still a lot to talk about in the city of Abuja. Now, do you know that the high cost of rent in the city center is forcing majority of workers in the nation's capital to relocate to the suburbs? Also, the recent increase in the price of petrol is compounding the economic challenges faced by the citizens who have to endure longer hours in traffic on a daily basis to get to work and from work in the city center. TVC News' Joke Adisa takes a look at the life of some Abuja residents who live on the outskirts of the nation's capital but have to work in the city center.
Abuja, Nigeria's capital territory, is the seat of power. It was formed in 1976 from parts of the old Kaduna, Kwara, Niger, and Nasarawa states. A first-time visitor to the city center is carried away by the allure of its aesthetics. Good road infrastructure, magnificent structures, and sprawling estates welcome a visitor to the well-designed and well-laid-out city, away from the clumsiness of the old capital, Lagos State. But beneath the scintillating structures and the aura of a near-perfect road network are faces of residents, mostly civil servants, who travel many kilometers every day to work in the city center. Modashiro Atanda is one of them. He was one of those affected by the many demolition exercises of the Olusegun Obasanjo's government by the then Minister of the FCT, Malam Nasser El-Rufai. Many in his shoes found solace in New Karo, in Karo local government area of Nasarawa State, where rents are relatively cheap. There are those who work in the city center but live in Masaka and as far as Kefi and beyond.
I cannot afford to pay for house in town. A room of 500,000, where will I get it? I'm a salary earner in a private organization. How much will be my salary is how much to go and look for, to go and involve myself in a debt I cannot afford.
Trying to reach his quarters with a vehicle was Herculean, as the road is far from being motorable. The Google map tells me the distance between Mr. Atonda's residence and the city center is 28 kilometers, but he says it takes an average of 2 hours for him to run through the journey.
Fuel car is difficult for everybody. It's either you go out with car two days in a week, and you drop your car for 3 days. So it's not easy at all, because 10,000 fuel in a day, I cannot afford it. You hold up, we eat up your fuel. You end up buying fuel following day again. So one has to plan everything.
He, like many others, chose the option of public transport, which cost him between 1,000 naira and 1,500 naira daily. The after effect of their choice is their battle in everyday traffic. Indeed, with 18,000 naira minimum wage, many cannot afford the rents in the city center. TVC News findings show that places like Guarimpa and Life Camp are beyond the reach of many, with skyrocketing house rents. For instance, a room self-contained is between 500,000 naira and 700,000 naira as annual rent. A room and living room goes for between 1 million and 1.5 million naira. 2-bedroom flat is 3 million naira, while 3 and 4-bedroom flats go for as much as 5 million naira and more. Getting to speak with drivers and other commuters in this traffic was almost a mission impossible, as everyone tried to maneuver their ways to get to their destinations early.
Wake up 6 o'clock, bath, at least attend to the children when they go to school. 8 o'clock I take off. Before I reach office, 10 o'clock. So it's a stress.
The masses are suffering. It's not easy at all. We are suffering. Hungry, tenants, we don't even have food to eat.
President Bola Tinubu says his administration is not unaware of the housing challenges in the nation's capital. Early this month, the president flagged off the construction of over 3,000 housing units under the renewed Hope Housing Estate in Kasana area of the nation's capital.
Snail-paced traffic such as this is what majority of those who work in the nation's capital go through every morning and evening in order to earn their daily living. They are appealing to the government to make good its promise to make low-cost housing affordable and available for them so they can live close to where they work. TVC News, Abuja.
In Nigeria, during celebrations, people spend a lot on gifts and food. But do you realize that making food in large quantities comes at a price? Yes, because the cost of gas is at all-time high in the country. So at this time, which means of cooking is cost-effective? Is it firewood, charcoal, or gas? Ellen Osamide Ekins tries to answer this question in this report.
On a daily basis, prices of food, goods and services continue to increase. With this, cooking gas has become unaffordable to a number of Nigerians. The cost of refilling a 12.5 kg of cooking gas has increased to 15,000 naira in the local retail gas station, as against 10,545 naira, which was sold in October 2023. Frank Ekpe is a roadside gas seller in the busy Mpapi area of Abuja. He told TVC News that the demand for the product has dropped over the hike in price. To make a living, he has now embraced an alternative side hustle.
Before, sometimes I feel sell 50 kg or more than 50 kg a day. Sef. I feel sell, but now even 12.5 self, I know they see sell anyhow.
For Ezra Jeremiah, his use of the product has reduced.
They use 12.5 kg to buy gas and cook, and I can cook in the morning and boil water self and bath and go to work. But now, just 3 kg, I cannot even afford it because the gas is too high.
Mary Peter is a food vendor. Before now, she used gas in her cooking. With a hike in the price of gas, she has to use an alternative means of cooking to ensure she does not run at loss in her business.
Because we no fit afford gas again, gas too cost. Gas what they feel before, now na times 3. So if we no use charcoal, we no go fit make am because everything don't add money.
One will say the decision to embrace an alternative means of cooking is a smart idea, but there are implications to the health of the users and the environment at large. Michael Terungwa is an environmentalist. He highlights some of the implications to the environment of using the alternatives.
To produce charcoal, you need to cut down a tree completely. So a tree is burnt. So what are you doing? It's deforestation, right? And then deforestation is not just deforestation in the name of deforestation. It is actually loss of biodiversity. It is also soil erosion. It's also soil degradation. It's also desertification. All of this in the midst of climate change is not good for our country.
On the health implications, Dr. Ajima Onize, a senior registrar in the Family Health Department of the National Hospital, described the alternatives as harmful to human health.
So using wood as a source of cooking fuel actually produces a very dirty source of fuel and produces chemicals that are injurious to health. And the effect on health actually ranges from heart diseases, because his heart disease is also predisposes to cataract. It can predispose to a wide range of respiratory disease, even cancer and some respiratory problems. It also causes even injuries to the babies in utero. So even though our grandparents, our great-grandparents used this successfully, but the times then are different from the times now. Our lifestyle, the things we eat are different.
She urged the users to make conscious efforts to safely guide their health while using the alternatives.
According to WHO, 4.2 million people are exposed to respiratory diseases from use of firewood, charcoal or sawdust. So trying to protect the nose by using the face mask is actually a very vital role in preventing these dreaded side effects of using firewood. So they should wear a face mask. It's also predisposed to cataract, like I said. So if they try as much as possible to rinse their faces like after being exposed to firewood, this will also be a very important step to reducing the effect. Also,
it is now more than ever important that Nigerians protect their health and environment while trying to cut costs.
Although the federal government has put several interventions in place to revamp supply and boost local consumption of gas, more still needs to be done, as failure to address the upsurge could mean gas becoming a commodity only affordable to the rich. Helen Osamede-Akins, TVC News, Abuja.
Our guest is Dr. Michael Terungwa. He is an environmental expert and he joins us for more on the possible rising costs and other alternatives that can be explored. Doctor, we have seen the price of gas go up again. What do you think this means for the common man?
It means poverty. It means that monies that should have been used for school fees and other things are now going to be channeled to gas. So the question really is, did you eat today? If yes, what was the source of energy you used for preparing that food? Was it gas? Was it firewood? Was it charcoal? Or was it burning of refuse? The honest fact is that the price have gone very high, beyond the affordability of the common man. Just imagine that a kg of gas as of today is 1,300 naira. So for a household that have the 12.5 kg cylinder, you need to spend at least 15 to 16,000 naira to fill your gas. You are not sure if it will take you for a whole month. So imagine if that family is earning 35,000 as a minimum wage. What becomes the situation of that family?
The alternatives, what do you think? You have the charcoal, you have the firewood. And now that everybody says, okay, the gas is expensive. What are other alternatives that you think that Nigerians can explore in a time where government will find something to do to this?
The quick fix would be to take advantage of solar. There are solar cookers. Fortunately for us, we have sunlight almost 8 to 9 hours a day. So we can take advantage of the sun and use solar cookers. Introduce solar cookers to rural populations. The second option would be to harness the waste that we have in abundance in this country. And I'm referring to bio-waste. Biogas production is not rocket science. It's what any household, any community can do. All that is required is harvest all the bio-waste, construct a biodigester, and then you have biogas that can be used for cooking. The other alternative, which sometimes I don't advise, is the use of ethanol. Ethanol is a very good source of energy, but the challenge with that is you are using food crops like sugarcane, cassava, corn, and all. The food that we don't have, you will now be using it to produce energy. So immediate, we can take advantage of deploy solar cookers across the country. And you can actually teach people how to make solar cookers using common raw materials.
Dr. Michael, I would want to take you to a possible solution to this, which you have also mentioned. But do you think this should be solely a government thing or a government private partnership? Also, in the past, we've had non-governmental organizations who have tried to campaign for a cleaner energy. How far do you think these are fed, and how will it address this matter?
You see, when you remove subsidy as a government, you should have a plan, right? In this case, subsidy is not there, and then there is no proper plan to ensure that people can afford energy. But very importantly, we're not just looking at gas. When the prices of gas go very high, what is the impact on the environment? You are looking at charcoal. I have not done the statistics, but I can tell you that 60% of the households in Nigeria at the moment are using charcoal and firewood. What happens to our forest in the face of climate change? It means deforestation. And the impact of deforestation is not just on the trees alone. It's on the soil. It's on biodiversity. All of this in the face of climate change and desertification that is ravaging the country is not good for us. And that's why I will call government first, because it is the duty of the government to provide and protect the environment as well. But it also provides an opportunity for businesses, small-scale businesses. I mean, if you can support smallholder households to produce biogas, themselves, you are in business. If it works, then every other... You didn't know what happened. When fuel subsidy was removed, gas, a kg of gas was going for like 900 naira. Many people converted their generators to gas. And right now, gas have gone very high.
That's actually going, because that's actually going.
Yes.
Because majority of the people that I know, mainly the subsidy of removal came up, majority converted into gas. Now, my question is, if we have this lump sum of people convert into gas and the demands become higher, what does that mean? Does it not mean that we'll have people, the cost of gas will start going up? Or what is government supposed to do if the demands become higher? What is government supposed to do to mitigate that lapse is being closed?
If there's anything that I will advocate for some form of subsidy in this country, it's food. And it's not just the food items itself, it's also the process of cooking the food. So these are some of the things that need to be subsidized for the ordinary people. I know we don't like hearing subsidy anymore in this country, but you cannot do without it. Food and some, gas. The annoying thing is, if you go to the Niger Delta, you will see gas flaring. This gas that should have been harvested and harnessed and converted. We shouldn't be complaining. We are more of a gas country than even petroleum.
Yeah.
So we should have all of this in abundance so that our people can cook. You are looking at the health impact as well. The more people leave gas and go to charcoal and go to firewood, respiratory illnesses set in for our daughters and our wives. We don't want all of this to happen, and this is why we're advocating. So we can become, penny wise, pound foolish. If everybody runs to firewood, tomorrow you are presenting yourself in the hospital with a respiratory illness.
Some persons have also said that, in the olden days, you understand, and there were more of the firewood and the charcoals.
I think civilization has overtaken
Apart from civilization, population growth, right?
Okay.
Population growth. And even when you had that, of course, there were a lot of respiratory illnesses.
Yeah.
Our mothers, our daughters going to look for firewood, attacked by animals, and even some girls get raped and all of that. So, but you have what is affordable, and it's good. You go to the villages. In fact, when the prices of gas was down, in my village, I was amazed to see that they are using the small gas, the camp gas.
Yeah.
They can afford to buy 1 kg or 2 kg, and use over a period of time. But now, they cannot afford it anymore.
Well, you talked about subsidy of so many things, electricity subsidies, as just the federal government has just said that it cannot continue, or it cannot meet up with electricity subsidy with the GENCOs, and also the fuel subsidy is also there. And now we are talking about gas subsidy. How do you think Nigerians can survive without all these subsidies? As you have also said that it is food first for the common man.
Yes, and that's why you hear the cry in the country. And if you go out, you feel the pulse of Nigerians. At the moment, people are not smiling because things are actually very expensive, and as a result of that, it can create social tension, So we need to actually look for alternative ways of cooking. I mean, these days you find rural women, they use stones, these very shiny, sharp stones, and add it to their charcoal. What that does is that it retains a lot of heat, so you're using little charcoal and you are cooking. Nigerians are very innovative. We keep coming up with, solutions. So I believe that we'll come up with solutions, but before that, we need the government to come in.
Thank you very much. A very fine place to leave it. Dr. Michael Teunwa, an environmentalist. We'll take a break and we'll be right back.
Going on.
In Nigeria, the sodium consumption levels as high as 2.85 grams to 10 grams daily, which is way higher than what the World Health Organization recommends. WHO approves 2 grams of sodium per day. This alarming statistics is a concern to the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, which has now inaugurated the National Sodium Reduction Technical Working Group. They will ensure the development of a comprehensive national sodium reduction guideline for an effective and efficient approach to sodium reduction in the country. This will be in line with the recommendation by WHO to reduce the intake of salt by 30% before the year 2030.
Certain staple foods in Nigeria, such as bread, suya, snacks, noodles, shrimps, among others, are high in consumption and could cause cardiovascular disease in humans when ingested. Therefore, industries and small medium-sized food products, enterprises and local vendors must be closely monitored and sensitized to ensure compliance with clearly defined national food safety standards.
I think, the importance of looking at sodium reduction is a very big issue because we know the implications on hypertension and other issues around nutrition. It falls within our nutrition strand of work, but there are overlaps, of course, because we know cardiovascular health is a big issue in Nigeria. Almost 30% of our health issues are linked to hypertension or cardiovascular diseases. So when we talk about sodium consumption, we see it even in the cubes, what is constantly called, the seasoning cubes we use in our food, the salt intakes, adding salt into the food that we take. There's already a limit. And we're hoping with the technical working group, we can begin to discuss how to take forward any guidelines that have been established, the minimum standards or the maximum limits anyway.
And elsewhere, e-hailing drivers in Abuja are worried over the growing rate of threats and harassment faced by drivers from their passengers on a regular basis. Now they want the federal government to act fast and tackle the menace before it gets out of hand. In recent times, e-hailing drivers have increasingly fallen victims to attacks by criminal gangs who mainly come as mass passengers.
Unfortunately, it's not just on one gender alone. I've had a lady who practically wanted to rob me. You understand? If not because she saw my demeanor and she felt I might be more powerful or I might be carrying a weapon, she was actually preparing to rob me. So it's not just that male or female, but I've had male also try to rob me as well. All I'm saying is this: imagine I get a request and I'm looking at my app and I'm seeing Ghosts as a name, or I'm seeing L, or I'm seeing B. You understand? Those are not names, and you pick people like that, you can't trace them. For drivers, I think to an extent we're secured. When I say secured, I say before you register as a driver, you must have your driver's license and basically your biodata on the app. Now, when it comes to the rider side, that does not exist. You understand? A rider can just, you have somebody who has like 5-6 different accounts because it's not attached to anything. His name is not on it. There's no means of identification, so he can decide to create 1 million accounts. You understand? And perpetrate whatever evil he wants to or she wants to with those accounts. So I feel going forward, the app companies must try to do one thing, and that is profile riders.
The insecurity has gotten to another level, and with that, we tend to see how we can partner between us and driver and also the passenger, so that we have including the security agency, because we have written to several security agents so that we will be able to track for an emergency. And also, Coca-Cola was once local. This is a local app which is meant for us. We understood how we can solve our own problem. We cannot bring someone who doesn't live here or doesn't know how security issue or doesn't want to even understand if we have security issues or not. They are basically concerned about how they will get their money.
A lot of you might have heard the name Aso Rock. You might not know where it is, but represent a seat of power.
It is quite similar to the White House and number 10 Downing Street, where the President of America and the UK Prime Minister use as their own seat of power. We leave you with this amazing report about the popular Aso Rock, where soldiers, paramilitary and residents embark on the Herculean task of climbing to the peak of Aso Rock once a year.
It's a few minutes after 6 o'clock. The Nigerian Army Guards Brigade troops form up to commence a yearly ritual. Civilians, including children, also join up for the exercise. Climbing Aso Rock is considered the most prestigious exercise for the Guards Brigade, saddled with the task of protecting the President of the country and the seat of power. At the blast of the whistle, everyone sets out for the climb. Aso Rock is a large outcrop of granitic rock located on the outskirts of Asokoro in Abuja. It is a 1,300 feet prominent monolith with a peak height of 3,071 feet above sea level. Nearly 30 minutes of the climb, we arrived at this plateau, home to an agrarian Gbagi village. We gathered that the locals daily go downhill to sell their farm produce.
After more than 5,000 steps up the hill, we've gotten to this point where we just have to stop and catch a breath. This is the first phase of the journey. The second phase is the steepest part, where we have to get to the tip of the rock. It's a Herculean task. From this point, you can literally see the skylines of Abuja, the various rock formations, the mountains, the hills, stretching as far as Nasarawa, Niger, and you can even equally see the sun shining on us and encouraging us to make the journey to the end. I must acknowledge that it's an extremely difficult climb, and many persons are gassing out. Some are stopping to catch a breath. Some may never make it to the top.
1 hour into the climb, we arrived at the foothill of the prominent monolith. The distance from this point to the peak of the rock is 1,300 feet. It presents the most difficult phase of the climb due to its steep nature. At this point, great care and perseverance are required. Any mistake could be fatal. Many reach their limits. More than 2 hours later, we arrived at the summit of Aso Rock.
What started out as a mission impossible has now become possible. I am now on top of Aso Rock, and I feel like I'm on top of the world. At this point, you can see literally the metropolis of Abuja, and any moment from now, our descent from this monolith will commence.
The feeling of surmounting the rock triggers a little carnival.
Aso Rock na my man. Not be my man now.
Prominent among those who made it to the top is this girl.
I climbed it
By yourself. So next time they say climb this rock, would you climb it again? You're not scared. I'd like you to clap for yourself. Congratulations.
It's an experience many will not forget in a hurry.
That I feel on top of the world because this is my third time of climbing this Aso Rock.
It's one experience that I would love to try again. It was at first it wasn't sweet, but at the latter end it was actually fun, and I'm glad I was part of it.
And I'm feeling it right now. I feel like not to go down again. I want to stay here.
For the acting commander of the Guards Brigade, it's a mission accomplished.
You know, every year we do this, and our morale is usually very high when we get to the summit of Aso Rock. It's a renewal of strength for us in Guards Brigade, and we look forward to it from the beginning of the year. As we are executing our training activities for the year, we always have it at the back of our mind that we're ending it here.
The descent is nearly as tasking as the climb. Sliding down on the buttocks presents a good technique.
Coming down this steep path is not for the faint-hearted. It takes a lot of courage. I'm literally crawling down on my buttocks. It's incredible.
Just like the climb, any mistake could be fatal.
Wow, it's a cool year.
After nearly 2 hours of strenuous descent, we finally arrived at the starting point. Climbing Aso Rock is no mean feat, but for the soldiers, it's a task that must be accomplished yearly. Sifon Asian, TVC News, Abuja.
Now we are on to some bustling entertainment news with Tijesu. So Tijesu, tell us the hot gist in entertainment news.
There's a lot going on in the entertainment scene. Of course, you know there's a lot of banter online following this AFCON final and also the Grammys. You know, Nigerians are one set of people you should not offend, especially online. What do you think?
I think so. You know, once Nigerians come for you online, social media gets bustling, and you see that if you are not careful, most especially if you're outside the country, if you're a foreigner, they will take on you. The AFCON, I think the AFCON.
There was an X account that said that Nigerians are the only ones that have the permission to drag themselves. No other person can drag us.
Of course,
that's interesting.
Okay, and of course that is what we are going to be giving you on the entertainment news. So we'll leave you with Chijesu after this break. Going on.
Let's begin with one of the juiciest news on entertainment over the week is the buzz around Wizkid's verse on Bob Marley's iconic One Love song. Nigeria star boy Wizkid has made fans super proud as he remixed the song and laid a verse that imagines Marley's message of a peaceful world. And the queen of the music screen, Beyoncé no less, has released 2 country songs. The global superstar sent shockwaves through the internet when she dropped 2 country music singles and announced during the Super Bowl that she would be releasing Act 2 of her Resilience project on March 29th. The song titled 16 Carriages and Texas Hold'em were released on Sunday night and sent fans into a frenzy. And for the single ladies, you might need to get out your tissues because Usher is off the market. Yes, 45-year-old Grammy-winning artist Usher Raymond is married. The singer and his longtime girlfriend Jennifer, age 40, tied the knot in Las Vegas on February the 11th, where the singer performed at the Super Bowl. Speaking on love, the singer said, "Listen, when you find someone that you know is a great partner, of course, it is an honor and a pleasure to be able to share life with someone who wants to share it with you and loves you, who you are. We obviously made a commitment to live together because of our children," Usher continued. "It wouldn't be odd for us to get married. I really do like and I have an amazing partner that I can respect." Who's cutting onions? And we move on to fashion. How much are you willing to spend on your wedding dress? Now, a Nigerian bride spends 12 million naira on a long wedding dress, and Nigerians were not even impressed. A Nigerian bride has become a topic of discussion online as she revealed what it cost her to rock her flashy wedding dress. The dress in question had a ridiculous long tail and was sequined from head to toe. While some expressed their dislike for the dress, others doubted that it costed as much as the bride claimed. Let's take a look at the dress. Would you be willing to pay 12 million naira for this dress? All right, now we'll move along to other news on the entertainment scene. Wife of former Vice President Dolapo Osinbajo handmakes crochet rugs and everyone loves it. This week, Dolapo Osinbajo amazed social media users after a video of her making crochet rugs trended online. She used a knitting pin for the beautiful crochet rugs, which were in different colors and various patterns. Her hidden talent excited netizens, and she was applauded for her versatility. Beautiful, beautiful craft and skills here at play.
So it was Valentine's Day this week, and I noticed we were both in the newsroom.
Nothing happened.
A lot of things happened now.
Nothing happened in the newsroom.
Nothing happened in the newsroom
Exactly.
anyway. But I think...
but I got a cake.
I got a cake too. I was going to say I got a cake and a flower.
All right, interesting.
So music, they say, is the food of love, and many are basking in the glow of Valentine's Day celebrations, which coincided with Ash Wednesday and the beginning of the Lenten season. Christian faithful went to church. Some organized a walk to reinforce moral values. The 14th of February is celebrated world over as Valentine's Day. Lovers consider the day as a special day for sharing gifts. In this next report, we explore and review the event that unfolded on Valentine's Day in Lagos, Yobe, and Plateau State.
It's Valentine's Day. Now, every year and in this part of the world, Valentine's Day is usually celebrated with people putting on a touch of red. Now, for a long time, red has remained a trending color. As you can see, I have my touch of red on. But if you look around me, you can barely see anyone putting on a touch of red. So what has changed? Unlike in past years, the mood isn't what it used to be. Aside a few shops seen decorated with a touch of red, the demand for a red or white clothes this year is said to be low compared to previous years. Chinedu, a shop owner, says business is rather dull this year.
Buying of red last year was more higher than this year. Like this year, we didn't sell much of red.
Everybody is unstable right now with the economy, how it's dealing with us. A lot is going on. People are starving, prices of goods and commodities and everything is on the high side. A lot of people are not happy. A lot of people are not comfortable. So I don't think people will really tune in psychologically or mentally to celebrating love or putting on red.
Apart from the historical significance of Valentine's Day, known to have begun as a Christian feast day, honoring a martyr named Valentine, which has also been widely celebrated as a celebration of love in many regions of the world. In this part of Nigeria, Valentine now holds different meanings. While some see it as a time to express love to one another, one pertinent question, however, that has been asked in recent time is, when did Valentine's Day become synonymous with immorality?
Valentine is just that day, that special day where we get to express our love to the people that matter to us. It shouldn't be attached to immorality at all. It's not for that. That sex is for married people.
Valentine is a season of love, so it's to show love to not only your spouse or your boyfriend, but I believe your siblings, your mother, your sister. So it is a season of love generally.
Okay, like they say, if you're not celebrating Valentine's Day, you are probably celebrating Ash Wednesday. So for me, it's Ash Wednesday.
While the day may appear to have gradually lost its significance, which some are blamed on different reasons, a new line of thought by many is to show love to anyone, not necessarily the opposite sex. Abimbola Agbebi, TVC News, Lagos.
Valentine's Day is usually celebrated on the 14th of February across the world. Research shows that 83% of Nigerians celebrate Valentine's Day. However, in Yobe State, the celebration of Valentine does not gain prominence. But knowing that the people of Yobe State are predominantly Muslim could be part of the reasons why the day is not largely celebrated. These Islamic scholars, Zaji Bunu, shares with me some of the possible factors for low celebration of Valentine.
The reason why some people say that it is even haram to participate in Valentine because of the paganic background from which this celebration came about. And Islam does not allow this type of practice, while it has its own practice, like the festivals we have in Islam, which we know there are two. The one after the Eid al-Fitr, that is during Eid al-Fitr, when you finish your fasting, and then the one that you do when you slaughter the ram.
Musa Ezekiel is a clergyman. He gave his own view on the topic.
The reason why people abuse this day is, one, I would say, is lack of knowledge, because love is actually meant to be celebrated within the confines of marriage, not among teenagers, the youth who are not married. And then if you look at it again, they use that opportunity to actually get themselves involved in activity that is morally not accepted even by the both major religions we have in the north, the Christian and then the Muslim.
Muslim faithful believes that the celebration of Valentine's Day does not align with Islamic values and principles.
Believes that love, the way it is being portrayed, being done through the sending of cards, love letters, and celebration going out to other places, to hotels, spending time, all this is not something that should be restricted to annual event.
In Damaturu, among the non-Muslim faithful, only few marked the celebration of Valentine.
Love is actually meant to be celebrated within the confines of marriage, not among teenagers, the youth who are not married. And then if you look at it again, they use that opportunity to actually get themselves involved in activity that is morally not accepted even by the both major religions we have in the north.
According to this relationship coach, many youths abuse Valentine's Day for lack of knowledge.
Many people don't even know what Valentine is all about. Many people don't even know who he is and what he did. And many people don't even know the meaning and the essence of Valentine. So many people have several notion to what Valentine is all about, and many people don't know it. So the reason why maybe there may be a low turnout is because of that particular issue of lack of knowledge about Valentine.
Valentine's Day is a day set aside to show love, share gifts, and extend hands of fellowship to the less privileged with common symbols, including hearts, red roses, among others. Michael Oshoma, TVC News, Damaturu.
The recent sharp increase in the prices of goods and services is affecting every aspect of life. This year's Valentine's Day celebration in Jos, the Plateau state capital, is without the usual fanfare, but low-key compared to previous years. Also, Plateau state has had more than its fair share of security challenges. The economic downturn is also believed to have contributed to mood. TVC News crew went around the ancient city to see how residents were celebrating the day, termed Lovers' Day. The event also coincided with the commencement of the Christian Lenten season. Some residents shared their thoughts about this year's Valentine's Day celebration.
Well, to me, Valentine's Day is a day of celebration because on its own it's a love day. And love, and that's what the stand of the Bible. We are told that the greatest commandment of God is love. And since today is the love day and it coincides with the Ash Wednesday, as a Catholic, I've seen it as a blessed day for everybody who knows the meaning of Valentine and knows the meaning of Ash Wednesday. Ash Wednesday is just a simple sign that you are from the ash and onto ash you shall return.
As you can see, there are a lot of, if not for the economic situation, a lot of social activity going on in different places. And then it's mingled with the fact that today is also Ash Wednesday. So the normal razzmatazz of Valentine's Day is not fully captured because some people are observing the Ash Wednesday, which is the commencement of Lent.
Personally, I am not actually a fan of Valentine. I do not believe with that concept of Valentine, but I understand a lot of youths, they like it.
Residents look forward to improvement in the economy and security, as assured by the government. This will make next year's Valentine's Day brighter and fun-filled in Plateau State. Funom Joshua, TVC News, Jos.
Still talking Valentine, are you aware that there are several other countries around the world that do not celebrate Valentine? Yes, let's run you through some of those countries and the reasons behind it.
Interesting. Countries that don't celebrate Valentine's Day.
I'm not surprised at the first one.
You're not surprised?
Yes,
I think if you look at it, most of these countries, Saudi Arabia, very religious country.
Yes.
Pakistan, very Islamic religious country.
And
Iran,
culture conscious.
yeah, culture conscious as well. Iran, Indonesia. Indonesia has the highest Muslim in the all of the world. So it's very.
I think
very
they all have the same reasons, and I'm not too surprised by the 4 countries we have that do not celebrate Valentine's Day. But here in Nigeria,
on the street of Lagos, on the street of Abuja, of course, it's
in
very
fact,
interesting.
a lot of people are
We still
there
have
are
Malaysia.
other countries, yes, Brunei, Qatar, and Somalia. Again, these are countries that a lot of culture and religion are more of the reasons why some of these countries are not celebrating. But in Malaysia, discouraged by authorities, I think they have strict country rules over there.
And if you check most of these countries, they are basically why, because the religion in that particular country sometimes doesn't really tolerate why people should do stuff. I'm very sure there's also another means of how they celebrate their loved ones. Very, very sure.
Should we expect that this will should we expect that this will tone down a little bit as the years come by? Afghanistan, Mauritania, should we expect that? Even in Saudi Arabia, I think they've allowed women to drive. Some other countries, should we expect that in the coming years we'll have...
I think as the world evolves and culture also evolves, people are also evolving, so it is very expected that countries like this will also come along.
Especially when you have their citizens also visiting other countries that do celebrate Valentine's Day.
Of course. And that's a wrap for us on Live from Abuja. Join us next week as we bring you stories happening all around the world. Bye for now.